He loves his foot.
He loves his foot. So cute. All right, bye guys.
Bye, Mommy.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. This is actually my second time pulling out of the driveway this morning because the first time I forgot my camera and got down the road, and I really wanted to shoot a video today. I wanted to take you guys with me for this little day trip. All right guys, so today's video is gonna be just a little bit different. I'm standing in the neighborhood which I grew up in. And I'm actually going on a little trip today with my dad. All right, I hopped into the van because one of the neighbors is doing some yard work. We are heading down to South Arkansas, El Dorado, Arkansas to be exact, which is the small town that I was born in, that my family has lived in for the last few generations. I think it goes back to like late 1800s, mid 1800s in that region, like the South Arkansas region and like the northern Louisiana region. So my entire childhood was spent making trips down there. It's where my grandparents lived, both my mom and my dad's side. That's where my mom and dad met, and where I was born. And my whole childhood I have memories of spending there in my aunt and uncle's house and my grandparents' house, which were originally my great-grandparents' house and my great-great-grandparents' house. So these houses have been in my family for a long time, a lot of history, and just over the course of time, our families kind of just moved out of that area. And my uncle, who's been living in the house I remember as my grandmother's house, has sold it. So we are actually going down there. Hey, Dad. He's getting ready. He's getting stuff ready. A lot of you have been praying for my daddy. He's going through cancer treatment, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to spend the day with him on a little family adventure.
Sure you don't need to go?
Huh?
To the restroom?
No, I'm good, Dad. Hey Dad, you remember when you went to the library, the El Dorado Library, like 30 years after you'd been there and you still had a late fee?
They still had a card. Yeah. You need to take care of this fee.
What was it, like $1 after?
Going in there for nostalgia. Yeah, it wasn't like a big fee. They didn't like add to it. It'll be 45 cents.
Handle your debts, sir.
That's exactly right.
Y'all see this? It's abandoned now. I think the attic burnt out a few years ago, but I always drive by it. This is the first house that I ever lived in. I have no memory of it. It's before I can remember, but this is where I came home from the hospital, and my dad was just telling me that the memory he has of this place is singing me Silent Night as a baby because he didn't know any nursery songs. Alright, so we just got done from eating lunch with my aunts and uncles, and I want to kind of just take you down memory lane here a little bit. This is admittedly one of the videos that I make for myself more than anything else. It's just documenting these things, and I wanted to document this place just for myself. And I want to tell you a little bit about the history. They're doing a driveway across the road, so that's what that sound is. These houses, for those of you who are like from this area, you may recognize these. This is a pretty busy road down here. But this house right here was my grandmother's house. Like my whole childhood, this is where we did Christmas, and my great-grandfather built that house, and my great-great-grandparents lived in this house. They built this house, and of course they remodeled them and added on to them now. So this has been in my family for a long time. My great-grandfather, he planted those trees, these two trees. One for my granddaddy and one for my granddaddy's sister. And they're both still here in front of this house where my aunt and uncle now live. Y'all, I'm currently standing in this little greenhouse room. We always called it the sun porch. And this is where my granddaddy started tomato seeds and started lots of plants. He had a big garden in the back. He loved to grow tomatoes and roses and hydrangeas. And yeah, like honestly, my childhood memory of this room is that I wasn't allowed to go in it. But even still, it's funny, as an adult I come in and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm in a little bit of a forbidden space. But my Aunt Betty has all of her beautiful houseplants in here, getting ready to move them. My aunt and uncle are relocating close to their kids and grandkids in Wichita. And a new family is gonna have this home, making their memories and starting their seeds in here, hopefully. This was my grandmother's room. She had a bed over here and all these bookshelves, and she was always reading books in here. And I have this very vivid memory in this room of being probably like 9 or 10 and telling her that I wanted to be a writer when I grew up. She wrote for the local newspaper. My grandmother was very theatrical, like she was into drama and in the theater and all of that. And she loved to read. And she told me then, she said, Jessie, if you want to be a writer, you should start reading now. And I did. And I took that very seriously. For those of you who ask, like the wordiness, where does your wordiness come from? A love of reading instilled at a very young age. I'm definitely having one of those experiences walking through this house. It's almost like a movie where you like have all these memories and it's just like they're just coming back to you, and it's everything. It's this like remembering childhood baths in the bathroom, and I wanted to come down here to see my aunt and uncle before they moved on, to see my other aunt and uncle that live next door before I move, because it'll probably be a little while before I see them, and to say goodbye to this house, and walk through it and let all those memories come up and just feel it all. Sometimes you just gotta feel it. Cool old attic. Actually been redone recently. When my grandmother died in 2008, Jackson and Asher were really little, and it was like the first great loss that I ever experienced. She and I were very close, and I came down here and there were these boxes of old letters that she had written to her father-in-law, my great-grandfather, when her babies were young, and he'd saved them. And they were still in the attic, and I spent 3 straight days sitting right here reading those letters. And even though I had always known my grandmother and been very close to her, that experience, like after that, and after reading those letters, and after like knowing the version of her that was a peer to me at that time, I felt like I really, really knew her. And that was such a treasure to me. And my aunt and uncle have actually since redone this attic. It's a really neat space. And we're here picking up some pieces of furniture, loading these into the trailer with my dad, some of the things that she had that he wanted to keep that have been up in this attic forever.
No straps, huh?
Nope.
It's better with 2 people.
Yeah, definitely. I was fine until it came unlatched on the stairs, and I was like, oh crap. Alright guys, this is my Aunt Betty. How are you feeling moving 10 hours away? We're kindred in this.
Yes. Opposite directions.
Yeah, we're going in the opposite direction. But hey, it's going to be worth it with those
It is. But it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been in the process of moving stuff?
Since actually moving things is Memorial Weekend, so
Yeah,
we actually
so-
moved some things. But we've had 2 yard sales, downsizing. I can see one more happening when we get moved.
But it's going to be worth it. You got babies and grandbabies within
I
1
sure
mile
do.
of you on the other end of this.
That's going to be so good.
It's going to be so good. So worth it.
I've only gotten to see them FaceTime a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
y'all have it. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, it will. Well, this new owner will be a good neighbor to Bernie.
Yeah.
That's really, and he's a good guy.
And they're real established here in town.
Yes.
So that's
yes.
really cool.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of history in this house.
A lot of history in this house. I'm glad another family's going to be in it and they'll make their own memories.
Sure they will. Yeah.
Look at these cool old chairs. I love it.
I already came down here a few months ago and said goodbye to it.
So you're like,
I made a big deal over it.
so now you're just getting the furniture.
It's nice to see my brothers again.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
not going to see Jack for a while, probably.
Yeah.
So,
Nice packing.
I'm really glad to get my mom's table.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. This is my cousin Ben and his elbow, and he doesn't want to be on the video.
Thanks. Hi, America.
Try. I did. I took home like 3 last time, and I left them in the garage and didn't take care of them. All right, y'all. I'm in my aunt and uncle's house, and I gotta show you this. There's little tiny Jess, and there's my brother Drew. Look at him. For those of you who have learned about Drew from me. And here are my grandparents as I remember them. So I got some honey sticks here that my Aunt Ann and Uncle Bernie made from their hives. They have beehives, and they sent these for my kids. But I wanted to take for myself. All these pin oaks out here drop their acorns, and they start these little seedlings. And I want to grab a few of them and see if I can get 1 or 2 of them to root, and take a couple of the progeny trees from these legacy trees that my great grandfather planted, because I think that would be cool. Hopefully I don't kill them. Alright, I got a few shots here. I got 3 different ones that I was able to pull up with like a pretty good root. They still have the acorn attached to them. So I feel okay about this. I'm gonna put these 3 into some little pots when I get home. And I did some reading. I tried to do this last time I was here. I tried to take some of these little seedlings, and I didn't take care of them. It was my fault that they died. I just forgot them and they dried up. But I'm gonna put them in some pots, and from everything I'm reading, I should be fine as long as you just have to take close care of them when they're small, the first couple of years, and then get them established into the ground. So hopefully I can take these with me and nurture them till they're big enough and plant them at our property in South Carolina, and then maybe someday they'll be as large and majestic as these oaks. Would y'all like a little bit of insight from me while I sit here and look at these trees? My great granddaddy couldn't have even imagined my name. He never saw me. Like, I was just some future, you know, probability with him having 2 children, and my granddaddy then had 6 children, and then my great granddaddy Bernie died before I was born. And so it's cool to me to imagine when I pull these up on this random day in June, when my grandmother's house is going to start a new story with a new family, and we're going to do the same to start a new story in a new place, that I could take these and love them and nurture them. And someday, the probability of my legacy, I mean, I know it's bound to happen, but I cannot imagine their names. They could sit in the shade of what I plant. It's worth doing stuff like this. Thank you guys for taking a little trip down memory lane with me today. I think I could probably sit here and wax poetic for a long time and not really fully capture this kind of emotion, but these are just human moments, and I love to be able to share them. This is a massive chapter of my life, and my aunt and uncle are still here, and I'm sure I'll be here again, but just in the way things do, they're changing. I bless you guys. Until next time.